Hey, welcome to the DBB channel, and today we have Class A versus Marleyan Warriors, essentially MHA Yellow versus AOT Green. So we have the left player going first, going for the Ochako already. Now Ochako is just a vanilla here, but it does have a very decent raid skill later, and we do see the right player going for the Zigjaeger as well as Bertohoto. I have no idea how to pronounce their name, but let's call him Colossal Titan as of now. And we're gonna go for the left player here with the Suyu for just draw one, discarding one. Essentially discarding the Deku, and the Deku is ready to be spawned out from the drop zone in the future turns. Now if you guys don't really know what the Class A do, basically the Class A just spawns Deku, very similar to the show as they all reach out for him because he needs some help. Now we do see the right player going for the aggressive turn here as he does push out the Colossal Titan and then hitting the Ochako raid. And because there's not enough energy to begin with, so we are just going to add it to hand. And it's finally the 3 AP turn as we go for the Denki with that very nice, I would say, artwork for the AA, and we go for the Ochako, displaying one more AP to call out the Deku that was spawned already discarded in the previous turn. So we'll go for the Ochako swing here, hitting to a color trigger. Now the color trigger does not go off, unfortunately, for the right player here, because I think he already set up all his small bodies in the field. You're going to see him actually pushing out Annie, and with 3 energy line, including the Colossal Titan will be 4 energy, he can actually make some decent big plays here as he does go for the Reiner Brown in the back row for that 6 energy now, and then going for the Marleyan Warriors, the final. So it's a 3 more AP to work with, but he does go for the 2 AP Reiner, discarding, drawing 2, discarding 1. Very interesting choice of cards here as he does discard the Reiner 0 cost, and then going for another Reiner here. And as long as you have 6 or more generated energy, you do have 4k constant on both player turn, which is pretty solid if you ask me. Now left player does have 4 energy to work with, but it's going to go for that Class A Deku, right? Izuku Midoriya skill looking at top 4, picking up that Lidas, adding both to hand, and I believe he's going to go for that Lida here because why not? Given that the Izuku is already set up in the drop zone, does go for the Lida raid straight away, allowing you to discard 1 card and of course spawn a Deku from the drop zone. And of course, if this turn was, it was raided, it does get plus 1k as well as the impact 1. So pretty decent as we does swing the Ochako first, going to be blocked by the Colossal Titan here. Deku will swing, and even though Deku is a vanilla, it is a 4k vanilla, which is pretty awesome. Now we do see him actually hitting to a Reiner as well as a Armor Titan active trigger, which came very late unfortunately. So just gonna move on to the right player turn as he does push out the Reiner from the energy line, essentially setting up their 4k bodies. He does have 6 energy in the back row thanks to that 2 AP Reiner anyway. Does pick up the Annie raid here thanks to the top 3 check from the Annie. He's cutting the Reiner here, and with the 2nd AP, I believe he's going to go for the Annie raid here, which allows him to actually spawn out another 3 energy below card from his hand. He does spawn out another Reiner Brown. Now Reiner Brown does, I would say, just pretty sick as he does go for the I'm going for a perfect game here, which is a special. And I think it's pretty cool that he actually mixed up the Zigjaeger special with the Marleyan Warriors, because if you guys don't really know, for the Marleyan Warrior, the special is actually pretty interesting. I would say interesting is the right word to use it, because if you do high roll with that card, you can actually pull off some significant plays. But we do see the right player actually dishing out some damage to the left player as he does hit into the Suyu, or rather the Frog Lady draw trigger in the damage life. I'm going to go for the 2 AP here with the Bakugo, which was hit from the life as well. Now Bakugo does allow you to give impact 1 to the Deku, as well as standing itself in the active, which is pretty awesome as we do go for the special as well to kill the Annie. And when Annie dies, he can pick up the red source from his life and add it to hand. I'm going to see the Lida swinging first, no, actually going for the Deku first, hitting to the first life, hitting to a final, so nothing really happens here. The right player has to think it through, because in a body or rather a fight against 4Ks, you really do have to manage your life, because as long as you approach that 2 or 1 life already, you're going to be in the danger zone for most decks, especially with the Deku having impact 1s. His impact 1 does go through, does hit into the no trigger Annie, so very fortunate he does throw all the bodies before that, because if he was to gamble for the live trigger there, he would be in a very bad state already. He does push out another Reiner to the front line. The 3 energy Reiner still standing behind, gaining some energy. Gonna go for the Annie again, once again looking at top 3. And this time round, he does pick up another Annie once again, adding it to hand, and then of course discarding 1. Now if you guys does have any interested deck you want to see, do drop it down in the comments and I'll be looking forward to see them as well. And we're gonna see him actually going for the raid here with only one card in hand and spawning that one last card. So he could have gone for the AP draw one here, so it's pretty unfortunate as he does have only 3 front lines here, which is definitely a sign of weakness. And we do see him actually hitting to a final here. And left player doesn't really have, say, much to block. And he's gonna swing the Rhino Brown with a 4k swing. Gonna start destroying the Deku as well as the leader to the drop zone with 2 life left. Basically the idea of having 2 life left against any other deck is because you have to respect the impact 1. You don't want to just die to the impact 1 from your opponent. You're going to go for the color trigger. Deku again picking up a Shoto as well as a Momo, adding both to hand. Very strong color trigger here. And what's the interesting thing there is that you can actually add 2 cards, so you can add final to your hand, which is very interesting because there haven't really been a card that does really that. So we're gonna go for that friend card here, and of course resting that Annie as well as calling that Shoto inactive, allowing you to proc the Shoto effect, discarding 1 and paying 1 AP, and then spawning out 1 more Deku. It's gonna spawn out the special Deku here, and yes, that special is a body. Very interesting and very unique to this deck, I would say. Now Shoto will swing for that 1 attack, and because he does have the Annie rested, it does give a slight headache here because you have to throw your other Rhinos here to actually just block the attack. You're gonna throw 2 Rhinos here, and then the Deku will swing for 1 last swing, and then hitting to another active trigger. Very unfortunate timing once again, and this is definitely one of the final few turns for the right player here as he does go for the AP draw 1, and he's gonna push out the Zeke Jaeger as well as the Rhino Brown, and then one last AP. Or 2 more APs, he does go for the Zeke Jaeger as well as a Colossal Titan. No, Armor Titan. Yes, so the Armor Titan is actually a very decent card with that 5k body stats, and because it does have the Annie in the front line, it does reduce by 1 cost, so it's actually a 6 cost rate, and the Rhino does have impact 1, so that's why we actually stay at 2 life instead, and we're gonna see into the active trigger, which is not exactly useful here, but who really minds more triggers? Now the final turn here, as we do go for it, we're gonna go for the Momo first. Looking at top 3, I believe he's looking for a red target. It does pick up the Ochako instantly, so I imagine the Ochako red is already in hand. Does discard 1 thanks to the Momo skill. Gonna go for the Ochako 0 cost, and then of course raiding it, and Ochako can't be blocked by 4k and above, so the Rhino can't really block it. We're gonna discard 2 cards here thanks to the Ochako to actually replace one of our Suyu, or rather the Frog Lady, into a Deku. And of course the Deku will be ready for the next turn, and Bakugo will activate his skill, giving impact 1 to the left card, and then it's gonna start swinging once again. Now the attack pattern is very important here because you don't want that Rhino to block it effectively. So the first attack will be blocked by the 0 cost, the second attack as well. Now this swing is going to be impact 1, the Rhino will block it, it's 5k, so the Rhino does die, the Bakugo will swing as the last life. And of course Annie will be retired here and then picking up the Annie from the red source, but with just 3 energy in the back row, this deck won't really do too much. It does go for the AP draw 1, and I would say it's pretty late already for all these cards as we do look at the left player field with still 4k's body in front and 2 4k's ready to be pushed in front if any of those bodies does get destroyed this turn. So he does use the Annie skill, pick up another Annie, not gonna do too much, very unfortunate. Let's cut the Armor Titan from his hand. The Armor Titan isn't exactly the best card to see here, and we're gonna go for the AP draw 1 for the left player here, and I think he's just gonna start swinging, using Bakugo's skill first, you give that impact 1 to secure that potential final. Ochako will swing and then hitting to the last life, and this will be game with Class A taking the W. Now this is the Class A deck list if you guys are interested in. And this is the Rhino Brown, or basically the Marleyan Warriors deck list if you guys are interested as well. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.